All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. Today we're going to be looking at the new Pixel 9a versus the previous generation Pixel 8a. So I'm going to compare these for you. I'm going to check out the cameras, give us a quick spec rundown before I get started on my opinion on both of these devices. So on the Pixel 9a, you're getting a bigger display at 6.3 inches, but it's still 20 by 9 aspect ratio. You've got 1080 by 2424 because again it's a little bit bigger, and the 8A is 6.1 inches and it's 1080 by 2400. So you've got a higher resolution on the 8A, but you get a higher peak brightness, and just the brightness of the display is brighter on the new Pixel 9a. 1800 nits HDR and up to 2700 nits peak brightness, while the HDR is 1400 on the 8a and 2000 brightness on the peak nits. So same technology display though, so that is all the same. So when you get down to hardware, you're looking at the previous generation here, which has the camera bar. Now, I am a fan of this camera bar. I don't dislike the 9A now that I see it in person, but I am definitely a fan of the camera bar, and it would have been very cool if they'd have kept the camera bar going on the 9A to make it feel like it was a part of the family. I just think it was important to leave that, but they chose to remove it and go with a completely flat design, which is cool, which I do like. Overall, the design, I do like the 9A better because it's in line with the current lineup of Pixels. So that's strange that they chose to not do the camera bar. I'm wondering if this was just a production device they were going to bring out a long time ago and they decided, hey, let's just do it now so we don't waste materials. I don't know, but to me it just doesn't make any sense to have this style here when this is the current generation lineup for the devices, the camera bar, that is. But after that, folks, I definitely like the Pixel 9a's design. I love the flat sides. And I always like the eclectic colors that they bring every now and then. But you can clearly see the bezels on here. Let me change this wallpaper so you can get some sense of what the bezels actually look like on here. So you can see they have the same size bezels. There's nothing different in the bezels here, if that's important to you. So the 8A appears to be a little bit bigger on the bottom chin because it's more uniform, but it looks like, well, I think it's about the same. It's just you have a bigger display and, you just have a smaller display. So, but the bottom area of the 8A does appear to have a bigger chin area. You can see there. It appears to have a bigger chin area on the bottom. But after that, the display is actually pretty good. You can tell that the 9A is brighter. It's not just on paper. You can actually see that it is brighter. So bear that in mind if you're deciding on which display you want to go outside with. They're both very nice outside, but having just a little bit more, that's important. So yeah, hardware-wise, I like the camera bar on the 8A, but I really like the design of the 9A. I really wish they would have kept the same design language. But I understand why they didn't, because then a lot of people probably wouldn't buy the Pixel 9. They're too close. Let me read the specs of the Pixel 9. 6.3 inch, 1080p, 24 by 20, 1080 by 2424. Pixels per inch is 422. Smooth display 60 hertz to 120 hertz. HDR is 1800, peak brightness is 2700. Now I just read that for the Pixel 9a, so you can see why they changed the elements of the design, because they will be producing the exact same device. So unfortunately, this is a good purchase when you look at just those specs alone. It is. Now another area where the 9a is besting the Pixel 9 and the other Pixels is a 5100 milliamp hour battery inside. So you're getting over 30 hours of usage out of this thing and 100 hours on extreme battery life. Now the Pixel 9, once again, says that it can get 100 hours, up to 100 hours on extreme battery saving, but so does the Pixel 9a. Yeah, so you do have fast wireless charging, fast charging, but you just have wireless charging, Qi wireless charging on the 9a and the 8a. But it's very nice. I don't really use wireless charging, but I will plug in this device, but the battery life is so good, I don't really need to try to even do the wireless charging, but it definitely works.
So let's get the wireless charger out here. And we'll show you the 8A.
So it charges. And then let's move to the 9A. And it charges. So wirelessly, you're good to go. They are fine. You can do wireless charging. I don't suggest you use that as your main source of charging because it is very slow. So these both have Gorilla Glass 3 on the glass covers. This 9A has a satin metal frame, and the 8A has a composite back with a satin metal frame. So plastic backs. I mean, you know, composite, plastic back. Fingerprint reader it has a fingerprint reader on the screen of both of them. Now, one area that this one, the 9A, moved up is the IP rating. It's now IP68, matching IP68, dust and water, matching the 9 lineup. So, I mean, that's good. The 8A is IP68, but, you know, it is what it is. 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs storage in both of these, so that's not really a problem. You do have the multi-layer hardware in here, though, with a certification for Titan M2 security chip. So, again, this is all the more reason why you can recommend the 9A next to the 9, because I understand why they're doing this. But you have the Tensor chip 3 over here, G3, and you have the G4 here, matching the Pixel 9. So it's kind of crazy. So the camera setup, and I'll show the camera quality with these two devices right now. But the camera setup is a dual camera setup. This has a 48 megapixel shooter and a 13 megapixel wide. And this has super res zoom as well, up to 8 times, along with the 8A. But the quality is probably going to be equally matched or maybe the same because the 9 has it as well. So you have a 48 megapixel quad pixel, 48 megapixel quad pixel dual pixel with OIS and CLAV, and then you have just a 64 megapixel wide over here. So you have an f1.7 on the 9A and then an f1.89, so 1.9, but you have the same field of view for the wide angle or for the lens over here as the Pixel 9. And again, it's just strange that they're choosing to put the specs pretty much of the 9. This is what they do, though. This is why they bring this device out later. But you have a 13 megapixel ultra wide on both of these with the exact same camera. So there's little changes. This may have a 64 megapixel camera, but this is going to be the more powerful camera more than likely, and you'll see in just a second. So you've got 4K recording on both. You got 1080p, 60 frames per second on both, 4K 30, 4K 60. 5 times zoom, digital zoom on both. That's just what it is. 13 megapixel shooter on the front of this, and again, that's even better than the higher pixel count, I should say, of the 9. But the 9 has the dual pixel selfie camera with the autofocus, and so that's going to be a little better. Again, when you get down to comparing specs with the 9A versus the 9, they are identical when it comes to the ADME, macro focus, night shot. The 8A doesn't have ADME or macro focus, so that's a huge difference. And then the 9, compared to the 9A, has action pan. So Magic Editor and all these different specs, they're all there. You just have HDR 10-bit on the 9. Now, an area where this definitely is not on the 9's level, it doesn't have cinematic video or portrait video. It doesn't have 10-bit HDR video. It does have all the other features, but it just doesn't have it. And it also, surprisingly enough, doesn't have noise suppression like the 8A or the 9. So that's kind of strange that they chose to not put that on the 9A. But it does not have it. So that's just something to take note of. Now, let's take a look at the camera quality on these. And you tell me what you think about it, and then we'll come back. All right, guys, here's the Pixel 9a's front camera. Just standing in the same position here. Hopefully the audio and quality is good enough. All right, guys, so here's the Pixel 8a's front camera. Just standing in this spot right here. Hopefully the quality and audio is good enough for you compared to the 9A. All right, guys, here's the Pixel 8a's rear camera. Hopefully the audio quality and video is up to par. All right, guys, here's the rear camera on the Pixel 9A. Hopefully the audio and quality is up to par. Now, I've already gone over the design of these. I actually like the Pixel 9A body, but I like the camera bar on the 8A. As far as features and functionality, these are running neck and neck. They're both really fast. Nothing. I just got more apps over here. They both do very well. I'll show you the screens. Performance, though, I don't see much difference, and I'm not going to see much difference. It is the G3 to the G4. But initially, when I think I posted that initial video, I said this was kind of slow in processing, but it's leveled out now. I think it was just that it was new and booting up and everything. So software-wise, you're getting the same experience. But now let me fire up the same video on these phones and show you what they look like. Now I've got the 9A on the right here and the 8A, as you can tell, it's on the left. They're playing the same video. This is just a quick short that I did on the Oppo Find 5. N5, and it's good quality on both. The screen actually looks a little clearer and a little better on the 9A. It's those little improvements that they do sometimes on phones. Now here is the 9A on the bottom and the 8A on the top, and the 9A's quality looks just a hair sharper. There's probably nothing different in these screen technologies, but software is everything with Google. So they both look really clear, really good. The 9A produces the footage just a tad bit clearer or brighter, if you want to say. But it's still good on both of them. They're both very solid. I just have no complaints about these screens. So in the end, it's going to come down to if you just want to upgrade, if you just wanted to. There's a lot of you guys that have the 8A. And you're fine with that. You don't have a reason to purchase the 8A or the 9A. My goodness. The 8A, stay here if you want to. If you choose to upgrade to the 9A, just know your performance, you probably won't see. Now, let me give you a reason why you probably would want to upgrade. Some of you guys might have bought the 128 gig version, and you said, "Oh, I wish I had bought the 256." Well, now you have the option to upgrade and get more memory. So yeah, that's a reason. Or you like the look of this one better. There's always some reason that a person can figure out why they want to switch phones or do an upgrade sooner than they possibly have to. But I'll leave that up to you. You determine, if you want to upgrade or not. I'm not saying that it's just this horrible idea to upgrade to the 9A. I'm just saying it's really not necessary. A lot of times by today's standards, it is not necessary to upgrade to the next version of something. But we do it sometimes just because we can, or there's a good trade-in deal. Now, is there a good trade-in deal going on right now? I don't know. But I can tell you if you're looking to buy one of these, there's good discounts on Google Fi. You'll see the link in the description. It's just a good deal. So if in fact you choose to change to the Google Pixel 9A from the 8A, just make sure you're able to get some money back on this. Your camera quality. Now there's lots of features. This sits flat on the table. This has a raised bar. I mean, it's just preference. I do like this hardware better because it is in line with the current lineup. But I don't see the need to just push forward. And this is the story, folks. This is what it is for all phones today. You really don't have a need to switch. If you're just looking to get that next version of something, because more than likely your device will get the same software update and it'll perform the same and sometimes better. You just never know until you actually pull the trigger. So I would suggest if you like the new color scheme, if you like the flat camera bump design and you want a little bit bigger screen, that is an option as well. You get a bigger screen. You definitely get a bigger battery. So yeah, there's some changes here. You get a brighter screen, a bigger battery, no camera bump, a nice design. Yeah, there's a lot to it. It's really nice. Speaker volume on here was okay. I think the 9A microphones are a little bit better when recording. but speaker volume was decent on both. I think the 8A might have a little bit better speakers and microphones, just in my sampling. But anyway, it's your man Jay. Cameras are great on both. Battery is definitely better on the 9A because it's bigger. And you can tell it's performing better. So I will be testing this on different networks, so stay tuned for that. But I wanted to go ahead and get this video out of the way because I know a lot of you guys are going to ask Pixel 8a versus Pixel 9a. For those reasons that I just mentioned, if you want to get a bigger battery, if you just happen to buy the 128 gig version of this one and you needed more memory, okay, upgrade. If you like the design, if you're okay with this flat camera design, this newer style module right here, which is fine. I'll get over that quickly. But you know, it's just a matter of preference. And I do like the colors that are available, which is why I didn't get rid of the 8A, because I really like the 8A's, this bright green color. And I like this iris, it's called Iris. It's really just lavender though. Anyway, it's your man Jay. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.